What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to Redriveraviation. Hope you guys had a fantastic day today, and today we have a very special video for you guys. Today we're going to be commemorating American Airlines' MD-80's 4-year anniversary of retirement today. So quite the video here today. It's really surreal to think that we are already the 4 years of American Airlines MD-80 being retired. So let's talk about it. So on September 4th, 2019, 4 years ago today, that's crazy to think about. But 4 years ago today, American Airlines retired the McDonnell Douglas MD-80 from service. What a special day that was. We'll take a look at some pictures here in a moment. But obviously, American Airlines had a full network of about 2 dozen routes out of Dallas-Fort Worth on September 3rd and 4th to commemorate the MD-80, because obviously the MD-80 had a huge part of the American Airlines fleet. And of course, being my favorite aircraft, got to recognize how cool that was. And of course, over the last 3 years, we've made a video each and every year really going into detail about this. I'm sorry to say that this one will be a little bit more brief because unfortunately it's been quite the wallop for me as of late in terms of how busy I've been, but we certainly do have some pictures here to look at. And also I do have my Gemini 200 model that we can take a look at as well. So here's that really cool model. Very glad to have this one. I didn't have the webcam last year that focused it as well, so didn't get to show anything up close, but I would really like to make a MD-80 memorabilia video here in the future. I've talked about that for like the last 3 years. I'm sorry, but the good news is I have a bunch of memorabilia, not only MD-80 related, but just general aviation memorabilia I'd really like to assess. So once we get the ball rolling on that, the MD-80 will absolutely be included and get its own video, because I have safety cards, timetables, skin tags, all kinds of MD-80 really cool items. So absolutely would love to get into detail on that and really check that out. So what an awesome plane the MD-80 was. Truly a backbone, from reliability to safety to everything in between. It was truly a really impressive aircraft. Only one incident, unfortunately pilot induced, but never a to my knowledge MD-80 actual incident. I think it had a recall in like 2008, but that was the only minor hiccup that it had. And the MD-80 real flagship, man. Really served a purpose, and it just a really versatile airplane in general. Obviously had a few more seats than what do you expect for an aircraft that's so versatile to have, but that was what made it great, is it can go anywhere, anytime, any place. You would see these flying from the Dallas hub to places like as close as San Antonio, Texas, or as far as I think they flew them all the way to Seattle and Boston during the peak, which was really cool. So obviously working on 4-hour routes, really impressive to see the MD-80 and its capabilities and what it could do. But obviously really ideal and perfect for cities like Tulsa, Albuquerque, Reno, Las Vegas, going all the way as far as Denver, of course, and then you could start working the other way around like Nashville, Cleveland, Detroit. You could even go all the way to the Washington area, of course. Really cool. And it truly yeah, the versatility was really important about the plane, but also it was just a great looker. I mean, I'm kind of biased since I grew up around the plane and enjoyed it so much, but at the same time, you know, I think most people would generally agree that it really is a really good looking airplane, which is really cool. Obviously, another one I think that looks great is the American 737. I think that's just a flagship. In fact, I bet I can find one right here that I can show you. It's a Max, but close enough. You'll get the gist. Hopefully, if it'll focus. Come on. There we go. Look at how nice that is. So, I mean, they're just really good looking planes, so you can't complain with that effort. But, yeah, the MD-80, it's just crazy. 4 years. So, at this time, 4 years ago, obviously, we were really reflecting on the MD-80. But on my channel, as a reference, I think we had 6 model airports. We just started Reno during that time. I think we were uploading maybe... It was either 2 or 3 times a week. It was pretty limited, but we had the airport updates, of course. Whenever I had models, I unboxed them during that time. And we had some one-offs like the American MD-80s. We also had the trip ports as well, so that was really fun. I haven't had a chance to really think about it, to be honest. So it's kind of, now that we're really thinking about it, it's just surreal to think 4 years ago. I was a completely different person, so putting the pieces together here is really tough. But it's something else, and maybe some pictures will break it up nicely. So let's take a look at some of these. Credit to all the respected photographers. I just looked up American MD-80 on Google, but there really is some good ones here to depict. I mean, just absolutely fantastic. And speaking of which, it's talking about the last 2 MD-80s that were donated here. So American Airlines donated a handful of MD-80s, which was really cool. And then the last 2 ended up, one went to I think it's a technical institution in Oklahoma City. I'm trying to think of the correct way to phrase it. Aviation, technical related, something like that. So they got one, and then the last one went to Lewis University in December of 2019, which is really cool. So what a great shot here. I believe this might be 501. That was the last MD-82. This one went to Lewis. It was the final one to fly with the American Airlines livery, and with intended purpose from American, which is very cool. Here's another really cool shot right here. Just beautiful plane, man. It really stands out from all angles too. It's not just from one. You know, you got the corner nose, and then you got the little wing behind it when that happens. This is a great shot. Whoever took that one's an absolute legend. That's just great. Really perfect lighting. Of course, you got the DFW tower to go with it. That's awesome. And this one on the wiki too is really cool. Beautiful plane. I mean, it's a good looker. Of course, these had the black nose there for an extended period of time as well, which was really cool. Here's a video of the American MD-80 landing in Lewis. I was so fortunate to catch that takeoff from Tulsa. That was about as ideal as it gets. That was super, super cool. This was just exactly what you would see at DFW on a common day. The CRJ 700 really alludes to this being probably 2011 or so during the peak. American peaked around 2008 through 11 before that first round of retirement. It's a great plane. Here's a flag. This might be flagship Tulsa right here, which is just great. Really cool that they had the sticker ones, and that was really, really special. Great thumbnail here as well. This is the Las Vegas at its finest. That's about as good as it gets. You can't get much better than that. And then I want to get the Skymarks one back at some point. That's a really, really cool model, and I had it for an extended period of time, so definitely got to get that one back. You also can see my poster right there that I have on my wall, so that's certainly really cool. You can find those on eBay still, which is nice. Not to mention the Reno Air hybrids. I got several of these in model form a few months ago, and they're really cool. This one probably taken off at Las Vegas, but yeah, when they acquired Reno Air, of course, they had that all white livery, so they just slapped some American titles on it, and it worked beautifully. Look at the bank. Look at the bank right there. Dylan would be very pleased. Very nice right there. That's really cool. Yeah, and then the interior, great shot right here. Glad this came up. I'm really, really glad to see this. This is a real throwback. So, of course, this was so cool that they had the Navy. I don't even know what you would like to call it. It's cool because you see the slots where they had you put the row of the seats, which is really cool. And then, of course, the carry-on bins, which were pretty adequately sized. And then, of course, 3x2 configuration. Never gets old. This side was always great. Really nice. Really want to get back on a 717 to see that again. Just a beautiful plane. There's really kind of speaks for itself, to be quite honest. And literally, it really does. Beautiful model right here. That's fantastic. I think that's JetX. Very, very cool. Glad this didn't happen. I just don't think it would have looked right. I'm sure it would have been fine. Just, what can I say? Hard to elaborate on that. Vegas shot. Iconic Vegas shot at that with the Southwest transition going on. Throwing it back quite a ways with that. Really, really nice. This is what it looked like towards the end of the cycle here. Of course, you had still quite a few of them, but this is probably like a 2019 shot, 2018, 2019 kind of times. Speaks for itself. I'm sorry if my voice is dead today. It's been quite the last couple of days, so thank you for bearing with me in advance. That's how the MD-80 was, though. It always grinded no matter what. This is a really cool shot. Whoever got that this is actually at Tulsa. I would presume by the buildings here. It's really, really nice. Just shots like these, man. I mean, it was a workhorse. It literally was the fleet. He obviously had a 737 sneaking around in the back, but that shot really does. This shot really does demonstrate what it was like. You have a 737 sneaking around in the back, and then you got all these mad dogs. It was a backbone, man. It really was. Yeah, I mean, just silly stuff. Really, really cool. So this would have been lined up at Dallas, most likely. It looks like DFW, but you can see here, this was April 2015. They retired banks of them, so this was probably about a 20 retirement bank. They just took them by the moment. 23 years, slowly retiring the backbone of its fleet. That's about as ideal as it gets in terms of the verbiage. Speaking of quite interesting planes, it's just silly stuff on there. Even it even has a jet photos watermark. How interesting is that? That one looks especially rough. I'm really glad that we're not seeing that right now. But it's quite the plane. And then of course C2 and 4, very special gates at DFW. I mean, this just speaks for itself right there. It's a great plane. It's a really, really cool plane. There's a DFW Tulsa flight right there. Speaking of which, Tulsa got several of these, of course, as everyone you can probably assume if you don't know. Just tough to reflect on. It doesn't make, kind of almost doesn't make sense. Look at this first class seat. Never got to sit in first. Well, I guess on the the Tulsa Air and Space Museum aircraft I did, but in terms of on a flight, but really cool. I don't know why San Diego's getting the mock-up. That's the 7.5 winglet, or 7.3, one of the two. Pretty interesting mock-ups, that's for sure. Very, very, very nice. That actually is probably the one at Tulsa that looks exactly like it. I'm presuming. I can't believe they ripped out all the economy seats. Kind of sad, but I get why they did it in practicality, and they did leave the first class seats, so we can't complain with that. Certainly very glad there's still seats in there. There's one right there. American 80 was DFW to O'Hare as well, which was really, really cool. That's a cool night shot as well. Let's take a look at that. It even shines during night too, which is really special. It's a really, really neat plane. There's a cool cockpit shot. Look at this. So it's always fun. I got to do this at where was it? C.R. Smith Museum. Take a look into their MD-80 cockpit they have there. Really cool shot in flight, but you can just see, obviously it was nothing flashy, period, especially here in the middle, but it also had plenty of components to it that were reliable. Of course, you got the attitude indicator and then all your navigation equipment. Crazy stuff. Here's a cool shot in the back right here. You can really get a feel for it. There's a good recline example, even though you probably shouldn't be reclined at this point in the flight, but that's all right. And then you got the reading lights, the flight attendant call button, air vents. Yeah, the inside certainly. I'm thinking about the inside again. Now the inside's really coming back to me of being dated, that's for sure. But I have flown several new planes recently. So there's the Tulsa Air and Space Museum aircraft. It's beautiful. It's a really nice plane. There was one picture that I wanted to show, but it went away that caught my eye. That one's good, but there was another one. Let's see if we have additional shots that are really good. Definitely get a skin tag too. There's several skin tags out there. That's quite the shot right there. I've seen them all catty-cornered back up. Really would like to go to Roswell sometime and really reflect on this. That's Tulsa. That's 100% Tulsa. Well, that actually may not be. It kind of looks like Tulsa though. That's St. Louis. So they busted me on that. So how about that? So it's just, it speaks for itself, man. This is a really cool shot. Everybody in front of it there for some sort of university, most likely. Let's see. Yeah, why not? A few more results. Would love to see some additional shots. Yeah, not to mention, to watch these videos on YouTube, the power backs, the thrust reversers out of the gates. That was certainly quite the talent show. Here's a nice broad perspective of it. That was certainly very interesting and very cool that they were able to do that. Here's the MD-80 flying to ORD. What a run it had, man. I mean, I'm just really glad that there was the only pilot-induced error at Little Rock. We tried to react to that last year. Unfortunately, that did not work due to copyright reasons, but pretty much the MD-80 tried to land into some very severe thunderstorms and overran the runway bad after having a very unstable touchdown and ran through some power lines and even a river, and that's the how it ended up. There's another good look at the seats. Those seats certainly speak for themselves. They were dated, but man, they were beyond. They never got old. They were very comfortable. Trying to see if there's any more very unique pictures to really talk about some more MD-80 characteristics. This was probably the this. I'm trying to think of what this would have been. This might be this guy's personal routing. Now this was this was the American Airlines route network there for a while. Raleigh-Durham MSP. I don't know how the heck that happened or if that was a miss route there, but everything else here, this is where everywhere the MD-80 flew. Didn't know it went to XNA. That's pretty cool. I mean, I know it did, but not at the very end. That's pretty sweet. But they went to a variety of places, mainly East Coast, and I'm surprised they stretched them all the way to Tampa, Jacksonville, Savannah, Toronto towards the end there. But they certainly were really fit for that service. But of course, they did a bunch of close flights and then their fair share of longer flights as well, which is just, it's fantastic. ORD St. Louis was, I think, the only one there at the very end for ORD, which is pretty cool. Plus Dallas, of course. But ORD was pretty limited there at the very end. Really good shot here by Diecast Ryan. Really taking a look here at all those. It's kind of tough to see them like that, but at the same time, you know, they had one heck of a run. Most of these, a good majority of these are were 35 years old, which is just crazy to think about. This shot, that's an absolute talent show right there. That's beautiful, really cool. What a plane. it will certainly be one of the most impressive airplanes for quite some time. And that DFW morning was something else. Wish I could have been a part of it, but maybe for the 737 or whichever plane, certainly excited to see more opportunities to get on that. To come to think of it, we haven't had any like major retirements as of late. I don't wonder when the next one will be. Certainly something interesting to think about. But what a talent show! What a talent show! That would be an understatement. This plane had one heck of a life, and I'm very, very pleased with how it ended, and really great timing. There's the cool Houston landing shot. But really special plane. This is over here at B. I'm surprised that they had 4 of them lined up at once one day. That is pretty rare, unless this was a ancient shot, which is also possible. But really cool to see that. That's great. Let's finish it out on one really nice one here. It will stand out like a sore thumb. That one's really great. We're gonna have a hard time. There's several really good ones here. One's probably gonna stand out like a sore thumb somewhere. They're all really good. I would recommend Googling these. They're really, really great. Kind of went into a rough patch there. Let's go. There were several up here that were really good. In fact, let's see. So many good ones. Tough to choose. I think this one I think that one just kind of speaks for itself. That one's really good. So yeah, MD-80 had a great run. Certainly expect more additional videos to come in regards to the MD-80 in the future. It's something that a 984. How does it get any better than the last built MD-80? Beautiful plane, man. Those pictures go hard. So glad that I got so many myself, even during those trying to find myself times. But you know, great plane. Really excited for its future. This is more of a celebration to me than a sad video, obviously, because of how incredible of a life this plane had. Didn't get cut short, none of that. Really great planes, really special, and certainly recommend you to reflect on it and see what it's all about to you. So yeah, thank you everybody so much for watching today's video. I know it was really brief and we didn't have too much flavor to it this year, but next year's 5, and I certainly would like to do something really big for it if life permits, which hopefully it will. But I would absolutely really hope to go into some detail on the MD-80 memorabilia at some point and really reflect on how amazing this plane is. So with all that being said, everybody, that'll do for today's video. Thank you guys so much for watching. I really hope you guys enjoyed today's video. My name is Redriver Aviation. I want to thank you guys so much for watching. Take it easy, everybody. Stay safe. Trust the process. Do you love and love what you do? My name is Redriver Aviation. I want to thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you guys soon as Redriver Aviation is signing off.